Good morning. So I was sitting and thinking, I was actually lost in thought. I'm mixing these two colors of plasticine because I am making this wire thing is an armature, and I'm arming it with kind of like a moldable, it's a clay. It's a, yeah, it's not a natural clay. It's got a weird oily feel to it that I kind of love. And it's a material that we used to play with in daycare. And I always stole a little bit to keep in my pocket. I have like this ability because of my synesthesia, where when I close my eyes, especially, and I have no visual interference with like the real world, so I close my eyes and I focus on what's in my fingers, right? Okay, so let's see what we're gonna make right now. My favorite shape is a cat, so let's do a little cat. And this is what I used to do in my pocket. I used to just shape these little creatures, and they would be like little companions, like little entities, little characters. I think this one's gonna come out looking more like a fox. And he's going to be sitting, and he needs a tail, a big bushy fox tail. Oh, there goes his tail. Oops. All right. And I didn't make any hind feet. This is the fastest little thing that I could do. There we go. Oh my God, he looks like a fox. Every single time. Okay, so I have eyes in my fingers. This is how my brain works. If I can touch it, it's a mirror touch. So they say if you see it, you feel it. But for me, it works the other way around as well. It's a bi-directional sensory mixing. So if I feel it, I see it, and that is the only time that I can really visualize, is when I have another sense involved. So my tactile gives me a lot of visual input. And this is very useful for me now as a chronic pain sufferer, because when I feel pain, I know exactly where it is and I know the shape or the pathway. And when I start to have shapes, I'm like, oh, that's an ache, that's an organ, that's a muscle, that's a thing, that's gone wrong. And if I have a pathway, I know that that's a nerve pain, and that is because it flashes. I get the lights of its movement, right? Like a high-speed train. I see that. This is also why I talk with my hands, because I'm actually making the shapes so that I can see better what I'm talking about. Foxy. So the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to start making an animated collection of animated short stories about my childhood, right? So, and of the purpose, of course, will be multifold, because I never do anything with just one outcome possible. And I also don't like to predetermine the outcomes. So like I'll start with an intention, but I'm like, if I never get around to doing an animated anything and this turns into something else completely, c'est la vie. It's fine, right? So, yeah. But I've got all these little stories, and I want to tell these stories from the child protagonist point of view. And it helps me to think concretely. So this little character, who is my inner child, little Tuner Two Shoes, right? She's a little Celtic fairy, and she is a child, and she has maple leaf wings. Isn't that cute? To indicate that she's from here, even though she's Celtic, right? And so I'm like engaging in all of these ideas as an artist about what does it mean for me to be from here, where I am. What does the word settler mean to me? What does colonization mean to me? And how did those ideas wend their way through my upbringing? What does immigration mean to me? It means a lot to me. I'm both from here and an outsider at the same time, right? My mother having immigrated twice and being really without a location and without a home base. And that fantasy of France being home, like I never saw set foot in France until I was 15. I've only been there once. I don't know those people. They're my people, but I don't connect with them the way my mother does, right? So those stories of lost connections between the generations in a family, the stories of belonging and outsidering, and the different rules around that, language, play, education, all of these things were touched in my childhood by my parents' stories of belonging and othering. All right, so that's why I'm doing this. Also, I'm a voodoo witch, in case you didn't know, and I'm also a Buddhist. But the inner voodoo witch has always been there. I make totems, and I place good intentions in them, and I try to make things come true. Okay, love you. Have a beautiful day, a wonderful day, a creative day. Make something.